I'm Mo Rocca, and I'm excited to announce Season 4 of my podcast, Mobituaries. I've got a whole new bunch of stories to share with you about the most fascinating people and things who are no longer with us. From famous figures who died on the very same day, to the things I wish would die, like buffets. All that and much more. Listen to Mobituaries with Mo Rocca wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked, ABCs.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every Bare Naked Ladies song from 7 to Y. And I was hoping that we would get Stefan and Aaron back this week, but it would seem that the answer is maybe not. But we do have Jeff joining us. Thank you for always being steady, Jeff.
Hey, everyone. How you doing tonight? Good to have you here.
And we do have a guest. Tonight we have the host of JBJ Podcasts Productions joining us. And Josh, would you like to talk a little bit more about what your podcast is about?
Yeah, it's about the Bare Naked Ladies, and we go through every song from, start to end. We're almost done though, so I don't want to overshadow you guys. No, it's we're called JBJ Podcasts. We are an interview podcast. We talk to authors, audiobook narrators, voice actors. One time we interviewed Tal Bachman for some reason, mostly because he agreed to come on. So
Not the She's So High guy.
that's the guy. His dad was in Bachman Turner Overdrive. Which
I did not know that. Holy
wow.
crap. I just learned something.
Yeah,
That's
that's why I'm
awesome.
here, guys. Spreading knowledge.
Now, what would you say was your favorite or most entertaining interview?
We just posted a month ago, but about 2 months ago, we interviewed Linda Young, who was the voice of Frieza in Dragon Ball Z.
Ooh.
And that was amazing. That was just awesome.
Very cool.
The whole time you're just closing your eyes and pretending that you're in the show.
Yeah. And then today we posted a new episode where we interviewed Chuck Huber, who was Android 17 in Dragon Ball Z. So it's been pretty great.
That sounds
Nice,
exciting.
Yeah.
Working through the Dragon Ball Z cast right now.
Yeah, most of them ignore me when I message them, so we're probably not getting much further.
That's okay. Most of BNL ignore us when we message
Pretty
them.
much,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Steven, come back on the show.
They try to ignore me when I'm standing outside their houses, but eventually they have to call the cops.
We've gotten one. We haven't gotten a current member of BNL. However, we have gotten past members of BNL. Yes, Ed, we know you listen. Please come on the show.
We're waiting for you, Ed, Jim, Tyler. Oh, and we can't forget Kevin. We want Kevin.
And no, we do want Kevin. I want Kevin.
But tonight we should get back on to what we're talking about. Tonight's song we are talking about Maybe Not, which is off from Bare Naked Ladies Are Men. Wanted to make sure I focused on that because I got that wrong earlier when I was saying it. And this is a Paige Robertson song. Although, well, if you haven't heard the song before, here is a quick snippet.
Maybe you'll forgive the things that I forgot. Maybe you're forgetting all the times we fought. Maybe we should divvy up the things we bought, but maybe not.
And so, I don't know if this is a Paige Robertson song, even though that's who is credited. To me, this feels very much like a Robertson song.
That's exactly what I was thinking. When you guys sent me the link to remind me that was the song we're doing.
Yeah.
I love this song. It's one of my favorite BNL songs. I listened to it again, and that's all I can think of. I can't think of anything else but him. I don't see anyone else's footprint on this one.
No, it sounds very Ed. And one of the things that hit me this week is this is the last album before Steve left. And I've mentioned before that I get the feeling that Steven and Ed made very different musical choices. And I think this is a split that had been coming for a while anyways. And so they made different musical choices. But I think this song actually kind of highlights a little bit that Ed was already kind of moving in that direction beforehand. Because I could easily guess that if Aaron had been here tonight and had to guess what album this is off from, he would have struggled with...
He would have probably said, like All in Good Time, I think.
Yeah.
Or a post-page album. I think he would have put this on a post-page album. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Except for the fact that you can hear Page in the Harms, barely. He's there, but not in the way that he has been in the past.
Yeah, it just has that feel of All in Good Time.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of odd. I didn't ask you before, Josh, and I should have, and it's a question I always want to come back to. What first brought you to Bare Naked Ladies?
Well, the first thing that made me like Bare Naked Ladies, and like I wasn't heavy into them at the time, but it was the first time I ever heard the song "It's All Been Done" was on the show Baby Blues. The cartoon, they did the theme song for that, and then I really liked that song. And then a few years later, this thing called the internet came out, right? And you could get all the music you wanted for absolutely free. It was amazing. The story involves stealing, so you're ready.
But none of us ever did that. None of us ever did.
The musicians loved it and were happy and ecstatic.
I guess you can't say it was free. There was a cost to it. The cost being, the insane amount of viruses that come with them. But
I was going to say our souls, but
I remember I downloaded the song. That was the first time I ever heard the full version, and I loved it. And I started looking up more of their stuff. And then I had a CD I burned that I had for like 10 years. I kept it with me, and it had Pinch Me and All Been Done on it. But then a few years later, I was at my friend's house, right? And there's some more stealing in this story, so just be prepared, guys. And I saw that he had this album there, and it was Gordon by the Bare Naked Ladies. And I was like, you know what? I could steal this and get away with it. So I did. And I got that. And then after that, I ended up getting all their music, and I've loved them ever since. And then the first time I got to see them was right after Steve Page left.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the first tour after that. And they were great. But I would love to see him with Steve Page. I would love to see him with Steve Page at some time. I've seen them probably 10 times now. I've seen Steve Page twice, which has been great. But I would love to see them together sometime.
I back that up. I would love to see them do a tour together.
Yeah, I think you speak for everybody.
You're welcome, guys.
Yeah.
I'll speak for everyone for the rest of the podcast. You guys just take a break.
Oh, great.
That's cool.
Hey,
yeah, all right. I had stuff I needed to do.
Well, we don't have Aaron. Do you want to speak for Aaron and do our breakdown for us?
Ooh, I didn't. Maybe I can. Maybe I can, but maybe not.
Since we don't have Aaron this week, I can give you what the liner notes tell us about the music of this song.
Okay.
We have Jim on electric bass. We have Steven on electric guitars, plural. We have Ed on electric guitars, plural.
Jeez, how many guitars did they play?
I know. I'm wondering.
Four so far.
At least 4. We got Tyler on drums and percussion.
That makes sense.
And then, holy cow, Kevin is all over this song. We've got
on electric guitars.
No.
Oh.
Kevin is on the Hammond B3, the Lowry, the Vox organ, the ARP strings ensemble, which is a synth. He is playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different keyboard / synthesizers in this song.
That sounds like a lot.
If you didn't know before that Kevin Hearn was an absolute music god, this song should prove otherwise.
Kevin, why?
And the band is probably on stage literally jumping keyboards to get to the next one.
He's playing one with each appendage at this point.
Right.
I don't... Did he really feel the need for that many different organs in this song? That is just phenomenal.
He was going for that synth pop feel.
Yeah.
I think he hit it. Because to me, this song, like one of the things that I had noted when I was going through this is this song to me sounds very Matchbox 20.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, good call on that. I can see it.
Or maybe Matchbox 20 was just trying to copy this song with everything they did.
Yep.
When did Matchbox 20 hit the scene?
Oh.
Before this,
Damn
I
it.
believe.
I was going to say,
I was so close.
And then, of course, we talked about it last week, but we have a return this week of the hand claps.
Who played the hand claps?
All of them.
Okay.
Yep. I that's just interesting. Like what? Every now and then they like to bring out the hand claps. 2 weeks in a row, we've now had
2 weeks in a row. They've been doing the hand claps. Yeah,
they're really into it right now for whatever reason. In the M's.
In 2 different albums.
What song did you do last week?
Maybe Katie.
Yes.
Oh no, did we? Wait. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last week was maybe Katie.
Yes. Last week was maybe Katie.
I
Yes.
was just trying to
Yes,
go
it
through
was.
my head.
Yes, it was maybe Katie last week. Yeah.
You guys are on.
And there were
Top
hand
of it.
claps. And
Yeah, there were. That's interesting. Maybe they had a thing going on where every album they were going to do hand claps and they forgot.
maybe that's why Steve really left. He was just tired of hand clapping.
His hands were just raw. He couldn't do it anymore.
I'm sick of this, guys. I can't do it.
Instead of doing naked recordings, they decided to go hand claps at least once an album.
Steve's like, can I just record my hand claps and then we can do those because they always sound the same? And they're like, absolutely.
Just one. I'll just do one and then just...
I'll do one and we'll loop it.
This is art.
We also have deep harmonies that come in.
Deep harmonies.
And it's weird because Ed is taking the high notes on this one, and I'm guessing it's Steve, although maybe it's Jim taking those deeper notes on the... So I should talk a little bit about the structure of this song as well, because that's an odd thing with this song. Because the deep harmonies only come in on what I call the alternate verses.
Right.
Because we have, for the structure of this song, we have chorus, which is the maybe not, maybe we should forget all the things maybe you'll forgive the things I forgot, etc. So that's the choruses. But we also have verses 1 and 2. But in between the verses 1 and 2, we have what I call alternate verses, where they actually take a completely... And I wish we had a complete breakdown from Aaron this week, because I want to know if they changed key or not, because it has a very completely different feel with... Like we did with maybe Katie last week, when it comes to alternate verse 2 and 1.
It is definitely a unique structure. I mean, you have your verse chorus, and then they go into a different direction, and I don't want to call that a bridge.
No.
But why don't we lay down on the kitchen floor? It's like a second verse. And then they go back to the first verse. So it's kind of a really unique little way to structure the song. And definitely it's cool. I like that. I like it when bands mix up the usual, A-B format, when it's just like basically verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. I like it when they mix that up. So that was cool. I like that part.
Agreed.
Thanks.
I like the way we're digging into the music theory of the whole song, and yet you guys are sending me links where I have to listen to people sitting out of the toilet playing them. Memorize this or else.
So we probably should.
We have everyone do homework beforehand.
Oh, of course.
Well, when Aaron's here, we get really deep. He breaks down all the chords, all the key, the tempo. Yeah.
He does a full breakdown of it. Nothing like.
Fortunately, we never dig into lyrics.
we won't be getting to those at all.
No, we're not going to touch on that tonight.
Like we talked about with maybe Katie, those alternate verses have a completely different feel. I would almost say that the alternate verses feel almost like an ominous, like it's a very deeper tone and very ominous tone to it. And they almost sing it in a whisper. And then they come back to the chorus and it's a yell. It's almost like they're like having this fight.
And we can argue till our throats are sore about how far you take a metaphor. You always seem to see the glass half filled, but now it seems to me the half glass filled. Maybe you'll forget the things that I forgot.
Yeah, that's what it is. The whole song's just about a fight, whether or not they should stay together. I have a wife. I know what that's about.
She won't listen to this, right?
So I want to jump into the lyric quickly, like real, just based on, and you're probably gonna yank me back or re-edit.
I will. There's a few more notes I have.
You'll re-edit. Yeah, well, cool. But because you said that, I am curious. Your take on this, because I saw a different take on like some interpretations. Do you think the couple in this song is a married couple or just dating?
That for me or Josh?
That is for Josh.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I talk to you all the time. I don't get to talk to Josh.
Yeah, I would. My interpretation was a married couple.
That's what I thought too, but not everyone was saying that online.
Not
but the lines
necessarily.
about splitting up things, I thought was
Splitting up things seems like it, but then again, I mean,
maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Sorry, I
mean, you can live with someone and not be married and have things to split up.
That's true. That's true.
But I'd say I just see it from that perspective because I am married.
Yeah.
If I wasn't married, I'd probably see it from the other perspective.
Good point. Yeah. Okay.
So there's a couple more things that they put in this song that I really want to kind of talk about musically, and then I really want to get into the lyrics because everyone knows I love the lyrical piece of this show, anyways. But I had to like break down the music a little bit more this week, thinking about it, and the screeching organ. I don't know which of those four organs it is.
Which one it is.
But that's...
You mean like the opening one, the one that starts the alternating one? Yes. That one? Yes.
And it only comes in at certain times during the song, during those ominous moments. Like as it's coming out of that ominous verse is when you really kind of hear it kick back in. I'll put a piece of it in right here.
Okay.
Now it seems to me the half glass filled.
You just woke up a lot of people.
They're all looking out their windows wondering what
was that? Is there a fire?
It is alerting when you hear that part of the song.
Yeah, yes. I don't know if I like that choice, honestly. I mean, there's a lot I like about the song, but that when that first keyboard kicks in, it's pretty piercing.
If that's what he's going for, I don't necessarily think that I like it. I think it's a strong choice. It's just not one that I like.
Right. And I don't even know if that's Kevin's choice. That could have been the producer's choice.
Yeah.
I mean, because maybe with a little compression or other mixing terms, I don't know. It could have been softened, but maybe that was a production choice. There are some production things in this song that I wonder about. And that's one of them.
Like what else?
The harms. I'm not a fan of the harms in this song. And one of the things that make B&L, and now I get it. This was the last Steven album. So obviously a lot of things were probably going on in that point that maybe, and like you said, this could have been hinting at where things were going. But B&L was founded on their Stephen Page, Ed Robertson harmonies and how tight they are and how good they are. The harms in this song almost feel muffled to me. Like Steven's presence on this song is very limited in a way that's not typical for a B&L song. And I thought that was unusual.
It became very typical with the following albums.
Yeah, you could hardly hear him at all in those. It was almost like he wasn't there. But
they like must have turned his mic off. Like,
I mean, it's possible. It's like, you guys can hear me, right? Right?
Yeah, we got him. It's all the way up. It's perfect.
It's gonna come through on the album. Jump, and that was another one.
Well, and when they're
I do like the fuzz guitar in the second verse.
The other thing is like the harms when they are there. I was mentioning before they're yelling. in the chorus, it really does feel like a yell. It doesn't. I mean, they're singing, but it is like top of their volume, singing into the microphones.
Yeah, I think the chorus for me is one of the weirder parts of this song. It's a repetitive chorus, and if you're going to sell that, I mean, do it with your harms, do it with the lyrics or something. So the chorus is just weird. I like some of the touches they put in the music. I like the start-stop of the music in the first verse, and then how you get that little percussion when it goes back in. The second verse has that fuzz guitar riff between and the shaker. So they do mix things up a bit, and I like that. But the chorus to me just seems a little. There's something different or weird with the production. I don't want to say it's not good or anything. I mean, I do like this song, but just something about that doesn't feel being out to me.
I really love those fuzzy guitar riffs behind.
I do love the fuzzy guitar riffs. Yes,
it was really a nice little addition. Yeah. And I have to disagree with you a little bit about. I guess I wouldn't call it a harmony, but on the outro of this song, when they're repeating the chorus over and over again, I like the hold on the knots. Where
that is true. I will. Yeah. Yeah. No, we didn't really. I didn't really touch on that, but yeah, I do like the outro to this song. I do think that sounds really cool. The echoed harms, I think, are good, really good.
I think the trouble with Tracy for me on this song.
Oh boy,
what's the trouble with Tracy? He's got problems with this song. What's the trouble with Tracy?
Is the start. I don't. So this song starts almost like it's mid-song. I don't like it. I've tried many times this week to just kind of sink into it, and it startles me every time, especially coming out of Half a Heart, going right into that, like they feel like the song's been going on for 2 minutes already, and then already, boom, full stop.
But have you noticed what you said about this song several times, about several different things in it, is that it's startling. I think that's the whole stylistic choice in the song.
And you're probably right, yeah.
Maybe I just don't like my B&L songs that make me scared.
Yeah, I get that. But too bad, man.
Yeah, that's what this song is.
Little tiny song scares me, but...
It's not Grim Grinny Ghost scary, but it is just... It does make me feel uncomfortable at times, and I'm sure that's what they were going for. Mm-hmm. It just isn't... Those are the parts of the song that don't work for me.
Would it work if they hadn't leaned into it so hard?
It might. I think that if they hadn't leaned in as hard as they did, it would have worked better for me. Because it's not that I hate this song. I really do enjoy this song, which we'll come back to with the ratings. But just I think there are certain parts of it that kind of took me out of it. And until this week, I had not had this song on my playlist or on my iPod since this album came out. It was definitively I had taken a choice and made not to put it on. Up until this week, I had not heard this song, and I would say probably about 8-9 years.
Have you heard it live?
I have not heard this song live.
Mm-hmm.
No. Have you heard it live?
I'm trying to remember if I have, but I don't think I have.
I'm trying to pull up Setlist FM right now to see what they say, if this is often. They have only ever played this song 15 times in concert. And
wow, really?
Yeah. And 2 of those times were the Ships and Dips 5 tour. They played it.
Yeah,
they were that's
a late number for a tour. Yeah, for live shows.
They have not touched this song since 2012, which is odd because this is a rocker. Like this, and it's not. I mean, obviously they've played it since Steve left.
And you feel like it could be. I mean, it's got the hand claps, which is always kind of a crowd pleasing thing because the crowd gets into that. So I'm a little surprised by that number, honestly.
But I am noticing, like, since Steve left, they've only played it twice. So maybe it doesn't quite sound the same with Jim and Kevin doing the harmony.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that though, because you can't hear Steve. Would it really be different?
Or let's get into the lyrics a little bit. There is another possible theory about why.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's another possible theory for this song.
I mean, it's about a relationship that's not working.
Yeah.
This was...
And splitting up all your things, yes.
This was the last album that Steve really was fully on, other than like the holiday album, etc.
Yeah. I just imagine Ed and Steve staring at each other as they sing this.
Yeah.
Especially on that cruise.
Floor.
The last night of the cruise. They're singing this song to each other.
Yeah.
That could have been intentional.
Would one of them, would they have written this song? I mean, you gotta admit, that's art. That is hardcore art if they co-wrote the song about the fact that we pretty much don't want to do this anymore.
I mean, pretty soon you'll be wanting me to go. Right. That says it all right there.
Maybe. What's weird, though, is Ed sings that line.
I know.
Now that's what's weird about it, though. Because Ed is not the one that went.
I just imagine Ed wrote the song, and then he's handing it to Steve, and he's like, what do you think of this? And he just stares at him while he reads it.
You want to sing it?
I've heard there are great musical stories out there about the bands that wrote about their breakups as they were happening, like Creedence. Their last album was basically full on them singing to each other about how much they hated each other, and Fleetwood Mac did it.
That's everything Fleetwood Mac ever did.
Yeah, it's not unusual for a band to basically be singing about how they feel about each other. So it's,
Culture Club,
I can see it, Culture Club, yeah, right.
I'm going to sing all these songs about romance about you. And how horrible you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this song was the impending Steve Ed breakup song.
It could be. I mean, it definitely is a song about breakup, and they don't make it about specifically a relationship of a marriage, although it implies it, but they could be using a wonderful little metaphor there. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
There was a reason I asked that question. There was a point for that question, because one of the things I think are smart about artists is that they are, because I do believe this song is a Steve Ed breakup song. I absolutely 100% believe that's what this song is about. But they're not going to sing that song. They're not going to put that song in the album. Hey, Ed. Hey, Steve. I'm not happy with you right now because it's not going to connect, with your audience. They're going to sell it like a breakup song. So that's why I wanted to kind of set that stage that maybe that's what it was. Because I do think I think they're brilliant writers. They're brilliant writers in their own right. And I think they brilliantly wrote this together as their send-off.
I don't think they wrote this together, though. I really think this
doesn't feel like it.
No,
they both got credit, but it doesn't feel like it.
No, I mean, they gave credit to both of them on every single song in here.
I kind of feel like Page wrote the Dutch line now. I could see him sneaking.
No, actually, I have proof on that one. That one was specifically Ed.
That was Ed that wrote the Dutch line? Okay.
But so here's the thing. My take on this is that the character is a realist or a pessimist who is just like waiting for the other person to realize how bad the narrator is and for them to leave. If we're taking this from the Steve Ed type of perspective, I think this is Ed writing about what he thinks Steve's perspective is.
Okay.
Because let's look at it. Steve is more of the realist / pessimist in their relationship anyways.
Right.
And all the lines kind of follow along with like Steve's reluctance about whether or not to leave yet. Mm-hmm. And he's mentioned before, like in relationships, that he struggles with indecision and with wanting to go or not go or stick around. And I mean, it really sounds like that is what this song is about, is almost like that indecision. And Ed's singing it, but it's not about Ed.
No, the song is about Steve, I think. I mean, if anyone's leaving, I mean, in that interpretation, if anyone's leaving, it's Steve, and I could see Ed putting those words into him. But, Page got a credit, so he did something on it.
I think that on this album, like I said, I think if you look every Page Robertson song, every Page song or Robertson song is credited Page Robertson, like the Beatles, Lennon, McCartney.
Yeah.
And I think on this album, that's just how it went, was they were just giving each other...
Right. They just had an agreement to credit each other and everything.
And that could be it too, yeah.
There's no solo credits on this one except for Herb.
Right.
So...
Who was basically the kid at the table going, Mommy, Daddy, don't fight. Let me play my song.
That's where serendipity comes in. I want to talk a little bit about the wonderful wordplay that Ed is doing here with this song. He's great with every single line, setting up an expectation of where that line's going, and then flipping it on its head.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon you're going to be wanting me to go. And he puts that pause in there, and I love the pauses. Pretty soon you're going to be needing me to leave.
Yeah, and there's a full-on music break there, too, which I love. The music just stops, and it,
And soon I'll be as good as gold, LeMay. Like, I love how he's like, I'm going to completely flip this, and he does it with every single line. I mean, it's wonderful Ed wordplay.
I couldn't help but hear a They Might Be Giants reference in there, but I'm sure that wasn't intentional, but when I hear Gold LeMay, I always think of a They Might Be Giants song.
Oh, see, I always think of Austin Powers Gold Member.
Oh, okay.
Especially with the Dutch line.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Did Gold Member come out?
Oh, crap. Now I have to look that up.
Sorry, guys.
Maybe it was this year. Maybe they were trying to get themselves into that.
Gold Member, yeah.
I'm not completely up to date on my Austin Powers lore. I apologize. You guys didn't tell me to study up.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was actually part of the homework, but whatever.
2002. Which, no, that was much earlier.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. This song's about Gold Member.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, lyrics online and song meetings, you need to fix your lyrical sheet here because you got it all wrong.
Darling, I consider yourself told in Dutch.
Yeah.
Is how it's written on a lie. I saw that. Darling, I consider yourself told in Dutch.
Donder maar op. Do you?
Donder maar op.
Now I'm guessing, Jeff, that you looked up what that means.
I did look up what that means.
What was the interpretation?
The PG version is go away. The non-PG version would basically be the F off.
Yeah. It's funny because actually Ed had the last part of this line in mind first, where consider yourself told in Dutch. And then he went to his chief flight instructor at his flight school, who is Dutch, and he asked him, like, how do you say go fuck yourself? And use just 4 syllables. And the guy struggled because he was being really super polite and he's just too nice. So Ed actually went to the internet, and that's where he found the phraseology for this.
The internet's a wonderful place.
Mm-hmm.
Where else can you learn how to say go fuck yourself?
I love the Dutch instructor that's too nice to go say F off. Or maybe he just could, come up with the 4 syllables. I don't know.
Right. Although this is the phrase. It really, if you find the translation on the swears, it's screw yourself.
We all agree the song's about Steve, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Uh-huh. No doubt.
No, it's a different band. You keep doing that.
No, I definitely think this is about the impending breakup of Steve and Ed. Yeah. Told in such a way that it can be relatable to, the casual listener who is hearing a breakup song in here and can relate to everything that's in the song.
Yeah.
Because it's done in that really clever musical way where it sounds like what someone going through a breakup would be, experiencing.
You said they've only played
I do love the line coming up then too.
You said they've only played it live twice since Steve left?
Yep.
That's got to be terrifying when Ed's like, guess what we're singing tonight? Kevin.
I don't know, guys. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
I was like, I'll sing it.
Meanwhile, Kevin's dragging out all 5 keyboards. Here we go again. Come on, Zagdon.
I think it's the only keyboard he didn't bring out.
Right. I do love the line that comes in next, though. You'll always deign to see the glass half filled, and now it seems to me the half glass spilled. It's such a brilliant play on words, such a twist, which this song does do the twisting thing well. I mean, the chorus does, maybe you'll forgive the things I forgot, maybe you're forgetting all the times we fought. So it does do the double play on forgetting, but I do love the glass half filled, the half glass spilled. Really clever wordplay. I mean, there's a lot of lines in here that feel like definitely Ed lines. I mean, I agree with you guys. This feels like an Ed song. That is just a brilliant play on words there, though.
I love how they keep coming. He keeps coming back to this splitting up the things that we have in common. Mm-hmm. But I still, for the longest time, didn't see it because I wasn't listening closely enough during. I want to say it's the second alternate verse, might be the first one. He says, "Why don't we lay down on the kitchen floor all that we say we had with us before?" And for me, that second line never really made sense to me. It's because I wasn't listening to it as one line. I was listening to it like, why don't we lay down on the kitchen floor and talk about this? No, he's saying, why don't we lay these things down on the kitchen floor and start separating them as I was going through it. I'm like, oh my great. That is a great line.
So here's my question, though. If it is a Steve Ed song, or was one of them, if it's written in the perspective of Steve, was Steve hoping to get some of the band members like, all right, you get Kevin, I get Jim.
Kevin, go lay down over there.
What do we hit? Kevin, go lay down there. Jim, we're going to need you to lay down there. Tyler, lay down here.
We're going to cut you right down the middle. No, you take Jim, I'll take
I don't
Andy.
think I like this breakup anymore.
I have to get Andy.
Right.
Andy and Jim are a combined pair. You can't split them up.
Yeah, right. Except they did.
Yeah.
Well, poor Steve got none of them.
Right. Well, or the name.
Although it's,
you take bare naked, I take ladies.
I've always thought it was really cool that for what.
I'm sorry.
It took me a second.
Sorry.
I've always thought it's been kind of cool, though, that despite all that, the only one that wouldn't get together on stage and play with each other are Steve and Ed. All the rest of the members have done some sort of concerts or work together with Steve somewhere along the way.
Well, that makes sense to me, though. I mean,
that's not true, is it?
Oh.
When they got inducted in the Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they played
Junos, yeah, right.
I mean, other than the Juno performance, but like before that
makes sense to me because I don't think the hard feelings for Steve, or if they ever were, have dissipated. I don't think they were with Kevin, Jim, and Tyler.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I think the emotional impact was Steve and Ed.
Probably.
Because like you said, you made the comparison earlier. They're the parents.
Yeah.
No one else is affected in the split up as much as they are.
It's a custody thing. You get Tyler this weekend for your little thing.
That would have been so great, though.
I don't want to go to Mommy Steve's house. No, Tyler.
It's your weekend.
It's your weekend. Oh God, we're never getting him on the show, are we?
We've already had Steve. We don't have to worry about that.
That's true. Well, we want Steve back.
I've asked him.
We're not going to say no.
Ed just sits Tyler down and he's like, in December, recording with Steve. Be prepared.
We have to tell you, that we are splitting up. You can choose.
They sat Tyler, Jim, and Kevin on the couch. I was like, now, it's not your fault, guys. Mommy and Daddy just don't love each other anymore.
Except for you, Tyler. It is half your fault.
Tyler,
it is kind of your fault, Tyler.
We all know it. We're all adults here. We can admit.
Tyler, you didn't love hard enough. If you only would have been more for us, we'd be good.
Oh,
they're like, let's blame Andy. He's not here.
It's like that child that dies that just drives the parents apart.
Oh my God.
Did I take it that step too far?
If Andy were still here, we'd all be together.
All right, I gotta pull us back. We are heading.
He shows up and starts eyeing the keyboard, and Kevin's like, "You always loved him more." Sorry.
Oh.
I think as long as I've been doing this show, and probably as long as you've been, I don't think we've ever turned
that went dark.
BNL into a dysfunctional family. And I'm kind of proud of that.
That was pretty good. That was a shining moment.
That was good.
You turned BNL into Fleetwood Mac. Congratulations.
Yeah, right.
I don't want
that was the goal. We pretty much could stop the show now and M. We're good.
There we go.
Josh already did the work for us anyway by getting all the way to Z, so
right.
With his cast, you know.
That's true. I don't want to brag about it, but, you know.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, you did like 20 episodes a day, though. That was kind of cheating, but whatever.
What you do is you condense every episode down to like 3 or 4 minutes. And then
we've tried.
Instead of talking about the songs, you just play the songs.
Yeah.
And you can do that right until Warner Brothers shuts you down.
Yeah. Well, that song that you wrote that was for Z was just marvelous.
That's true. There was no Z. Are you familiar with How's the Level, Josh?
Oh, jeez.
No. We talked about How's the Level for about an hour. So that's apparently how we can pull off 3 minutes.
The 5-second song.
The 5-second song. We talked about that for an hour. We're that good.
Hey, it was entertaining hour.
It was entertaining. That's actually one of my favorite episodes.
Did you talk about dead kids during that episode? That's specifically for when I came on.
No, we saved that for you.
Yes.
I didn't see that coming. I'll be honest.
I didn't see that coming.
Jeff knows me well.
Every week with this man.
Jeff knows me very well, and
I know.
Didn't see that one coming.
I didn't even see that coming.
Nope.
I bring
up
people.
Jeff, why don't you give us a rating scale for tonight and explain to Josh how we rate things?
Okay, we're going a little bit weird today because I'm really impressed that Josh is slowly working towards all the Dragon Ball Z voice actors. So what we typically, I went out of order there, but what we typically do is we rate the song on a scale of 0 to 5, which seems obvious. 0 being the absolute worst song. Why did BNL ever put this? If I could, detonate this, if I could have put this in a rocket with Bezos and never see it again, we would do that.
A dick-shaped rocket. That's a great Austin Powers callback. Everything's running back to Austin Powers today.
Yeah, a dick-shaped rocket. If I could put this song in a dick-shaped rocket with Jeff Bezos, yeah, right, yeah, exactly, yeah. We like callbacks. 5 is this is absolute, always on my playlist. If it comes on, I'm never gonna turn it off. This is like the absolute greatest. So this song is greater than Jesus or whatever. I don't know. So that's how we do it. We do allow decimals, or else we'd go crazy considering we do 5 billion songs. And we'd have all the same rankings. So we do, right? So you can do a 3.6, a 3.7, 4.2, however you want to. Typically, we talk about 4 to 5 is the absolute playlist song. These songs are on our playlist, but however you want to rank it. Every week, I give it an arbitrary ranking word based on, or phrase based on something that came up that kind of stuck in my head. This one I kind of got early because I was impressed that you are getting through the Dragon Ball Zs, and I am a geek. So this is on a scale of 0 to 5 Gokus. And
that's better than where I would have taken it.
Where were you going to go with?
Dead Stepsons.
For the love of God, I wasn't even going anywhere near Dead Stepsons. I like Goku's better. I shoved Dead Stepsons in the Bezos ship, dick ship, so quick.
I'm going to change the direction of that.
I just realized I just said the phrase, I jammed a bunch of Dead Stepsons into Jeff Bezos' dick ship. And I feel like I have to draw that. And never let anyone see it.
So, Josh, 0 to 5.
That was good. I was still composed. I can keep going. So 0 to 5. I do like to go with the guest first. So Josh, on a scale of 0 to 5 Gokus, how would you rank the song Maybe Not?
0 to 5 Gokus, I would go.
And you can explain why too, obviously.
3.9 Gokus. It is very close to being. It's one of my favorite BNL songs. It really is, and I understand that a lot of people don't like how jarring it is, but I like that because as little as I like to step out of my comfort zone, this makes me feel like I do a little bit.
Nice.
And yeah, after today's conversation, I think I like it even more because I've not given it a lot of thought about it being a BNL breakup song, but it absolutely is. And that's that makes it kind of the last big hurrah for them all. And we'll never be
it's funny. Again. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think most of us would agree. We a lot of times go into this with our own rankings, and as we talk about them, the rankings change for better or worse. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty typical. So that's very cool. So was that 3.9 for Josh? Okay. I don't know why I asked. I'm the one that writes them into the spreadsheet. So, Tracy, why don't you go?
As much as I talked about the negatives of this song tonight, this song really did grow on me this week. As I mentioned before, it wasn't on my playlist before now. This is one of those songs that the more times I listened to it and the more that I really broke down what the song was about and the more that we talked about tonight, just the fact that it's a Steve song really did kind of earn its way onto my playlist. And it's actually going on my iPod tonight after we're done recording because I really have enjoyed listening to it so much this week. So I give this a 4.25.
Wow, okay.
And before we go with you... Real quick.
Let's do Stefan.
Let's do Stefan. So Stefan
wrote a good review for this one.
His review is phenomenal. I want to make sure we give it.
I like that.
Give it the time it deserves. He said, "I was pleasantly surprised to hear that it was a rock song. I think all the instruments work really well together, and it's got a great beat. The volume of the synth could have been dialed down just a little bit. Kind of hurt my ears a little." I thought the lyrics were really good, and I think the clapping just added a little element of refinement to the song. All in all, I really like the sound of the song. It was smooth, it was clean, it was just fun to listen to. I'm going to give this song a 4.25. I would definitely put this on my playlist.
That was a very cool ranking. Very cool review.
Here is Aaron Becker's review of Maybe Not. It's a post-Beatles upbeat pop rock with just a slight, very subtle touch of that country influence. Classic Ed Robertson B&L. Pretty sure I heard Page on harmonies. I'm thinking late Page era, so Bare Naked Ladies are me or are men. Interesting mix of synthesizer sounds with the guitars, mixing and creating a layered wall of sound effect. Very full, well produced and mixed. It makes the occasional stops and uses of silence even more effective. I think those are my favorite parts, when the instruments drop out and Ed begins a vocal line and is rejoined by the instruments. Nice use of dynamics while still maintaining a loud presence. In a way, I think this is sort of like a bizarre Elliott Smith song. It's about a relationship which is having troubles, and the narrator or singer is anticipating a potential breakup. But it's upbeat, and even the name suggests maybe not. Speaking of Elliott Smith, there was one lyric in particular that made me think of him. The very first couplet. Pretty soon you'll be wanting me to go, and I will be the only enemy you know. Reminded me of The Enemy Is Within, Don't Confuse Me with Him, from Elliott's song Stupidity Tries, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. The tone here is slightly different. Elliott is a desperate cry to remind this person that they are not the enemy, whereas Ed is saying, if we break up afterwards, you'll only think of me as the enemy. It's more resigned, perhaps coming from a more ambivalent place, which is a reoccurring theme in B&L relationship songs. It's not the most poignant of their tunes, but there is some emotional honesty here, and it resonates. I found myself smiling and nodding to the beat. Overall, Maybe Not is a very enjoyable tune, and I rated a solid 4 Gokus out of 5.
Okay, I'm not drinking the haterade, but I'm not as glowing, I guess we could say. I do like this song a lot. There's a lot about the song I like. I do think I appreciate it because we talked about it. I think this is a bare naked breakup song, and I respect that. I love that when bands do that and they make it just discreet enough that you can still enjoy it. There's lyrics in here I really like. I think there's musical elements I really like in this song. This one's hard for me though. I kind of went back and forth on it. Yeah, a lot of the musical choices I think are kind of jarring, which might be the stylistic choice that they wanted to make. It doesn't necessarily work for me. The synth at the beginning, which is kind of really repetitive through it. The mixing of the harmonies, I really threw me because you could hear Steve, but just maybe this is a heartbreak song for me because you could hear Steve, but just not enough, like he's fading away. And maybe that was the sign, like the Steve harms are fading, and he's walking off into the sunset. And that's,
Ed went into the editing room afterwards and slipped the guy some money. It's like, just take him down,
bring him down a lot, yeah. Kind of muffle him up a little bit, Don't make him sound great. I would it be on my playlist? Probably not. I don't think I wouldn't turn it off. I do like the song, but I don't think I could go as high. I'm going to give this one a 3.3.
That's still respectable.
Still respectable. Like I said, it's a good song. I love the song. It's just it doesn't. I don't think it hits for me quite as well as it did for everyone else. It's just always good.
Are you guys Simpsons fans?
Yes.
Here's what I've been thinking about during this. Are you familiar with the episode The Principal and the Pauper, where Seymour Skinner turns out he was a fake the whole time?
Yes.
What are you guys' thoughts on that episode?
It's been so long since I watched it, though.
So that's a really divisive episode, and that's a bad way to say that. 99% of people hate that episode, and it's always been one of my favorites because it was absolutely not written for anyone aside from the 1% of Simpsons fans who were the absolute biggest fans, who understood inside references, what was going on behind the scenes of the show at the time, and stuff like that. And that's what this song's making me think of. It wasn't written for the fans. It was written for the band.
Right. And that's a good point. That makes sense. Like,
in a lot of ways, that's next level art. It's not even made for anyone but for people to enjoy.
I mean, I do like to go and read the YouTube comment when we're doing a show. Not to bias me, but just to get because that doesn't work on me. But I will read comments to see what the gamut of people think and where they are and everything, and I'll look on song meanings and see what people say. There's quite a few people that like this song, and they don't come out and say they think it's what we have talked about today. They think it's a relationship song and everything, but I definitely agree with you. I think this was a song. This was a cathartic song for the band. It was one they needed to put out there and write. Well, that makes sense to me.
This is the double album, and it makes me think that had this been the single album, had they not decided to do the white album thing here and had decided that, hey, yeah, we should have this cut down to a single album. My guess is that this would not have made it on it, not because it's not a great song, but because of what it really was about. And as you said, Josh, who it was really for. It wasn't for the fans. It was for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You had the space to fill. You had the song that you needed to use. So now you could use that song that you had. Yeah.
Although, that being said, they did decide to go with You Run Away as the lead song on All in Good Time. Yeah. So,
that was a confusing time.
That is true. That's a good point. And it does. And You Run Away is the sequel to this song.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that makes that kind of drills.
That's a very interesting way to look at it, because Ed's like, you should leave, and then he's like, how could you leave? Why would you do this to me just because I wrote that song about you?
A breakup is like that, whether it's a relationship or a band or anything. I mean, I think you're still torn. Like, yeah, but we had a good thing. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but you're sitting there, he's lying in bed at 3 a.m. going, why did I give him away?
You actually did it.
You did it. I didn't think you'd actually do it.
This isn't my fault. This is everyone else's fault. Here's a song to prove it.
Late night phone calls. I love them so much.
I can't wait till we get to that song.
Kevin, Jim, and Tyler come down in their stockings, from their bunk beds, and they see Ed at the counter binging Sex in the City and eating ice cream, and
it's okay. It's okay.
It's all right. I'll be fine. I'll be good. Mommy, kids, go back to bed. Don't see mommy this way.
I wanted to say something about this double album, Our Me and Our Men. This was the album that they put it out on USB stick as well, right?
Yeah, yes. Right. Yeah,
it was ridiculous. It was like it seems like it's this amazing forward-thinking thing, but it's not, because they're like, aren't they? The songs are like such bad quality on the stick, aren't they?
They're not great. And
like 32
it's just
megabyte.
It was new technology.
Oh, the technology was there. They just don't want to spend the money.
I was trying to give them an out, but man.
Oh, but this was 2006, 2007. They were there. I remember in 2006, 2007, I was buying and selling 128 megabyte USB sticks off of eBay. So they were out there. They could have done better quality.
They could, yeah. They thought they were cutting edge. I mean, it was like when Billy Idol released that cyberpunk album that nobody remembers. When he did it, it was all like on floppy disk. It was like an album on floppy disk with computer graphics, and I'm cutting edge. And a year later, he wasn't. So.
What the fuck's a floppy disk?
It was these square things that we used.
It's a save icon.
I do that all the time. I watch a lot of old horror movies with people, and they'll pick up the phone. I'm like, "What's that weird coily thing hanging off? What's that?"
But that's interesting.
It seems restrictive.
My wife was saying the other day that when kids pretend to do telephone, they don't do it like that. They do like a flat hand.
Yeah, does the like the thing.
Well, we were talking just last week about vinyl, and I think this song the set of songs was created for CD, and like albums that used to be created for vinyl, these songs were set up for CD, and when
they weren't set up for vinyl.
No.
No.
But when they were put onto that medium, something didn't translate, something didn't carry over for whatever reason.
Yeah.
A phenomenon that more and more I'm realizing that yes, that I feel like someone who's been in music all my life or enjoyed music, I should have known that. But yeah, when you change the format of a song, it really can screw up the acoustics of it, the sonic sound of it, and yeah,
it's like when you take it from a CD and try to shove it into a half a megabyte file, and it sounds like shit. I used to see that too, because a lot of times I'll post songs on YouTube. I was telling the story last week, like my producer did this song for me and works his ass off to make these songs, and
One day I uploaded it to YouTube, and I went through the render process on the video because I put it in a video, and then I uploaded to YouTube. And he messaged me. He's like, "Take my name off the song." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "That's not my song." And I think that was the first time I realized how all those little transitions can really mess with the music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do want to give an appearance for this week. I have no way to transition to that from here. I've been trying to find one, but there is none. I do want to give an appearance this week. So in recognition of the upcoming, actually just starting Olympics, Tyler and the 3-time Olympic gold medalist Meghan Agosta were talking on Sportsnet on the show called In Conversation with Ron McLean. And it's an amazing half-hour interview where they actually talk with Tyler and Meghan Agosta about some interactions the two of them have had in the past as well. Some actually pretty great interactions between them that may or may not be legal and should probably not be listened to by anyone that's in law enforcement. But I recommend people go out and listen to it as long as you're not in law enforcement.
That's cutting edge. That sounds controversial.
Sounds like the kind of thing we're not going to think is controversial in a few years.
No, that's true. True. Good call. Yeah.
Josh, if people have enjoyed listening to you tonight like I have, where can people find more of your stuff?
You can find us at jbjpodcast.com. We sporadically post the dozen episodes we have recorded and not edited. Our last 2 episodes were about a month and a half apart. And you can follow us on Facebook, where we will like what we like to do is post like, "Hey, a new episode is going to come out tonight," and then that post the episode for 4 days. So yeah, if you like me and think I'm funny, just get prepared to wait.
Or at least go back and listen to all the old stuff, right?
You can. You can also check out my website, portlandca.com. That's where we have my first podcast, which was about the 2000s teen drama, The OC.
Ooh.
It's fantastic if you love The OC.
That was a show I never got into, but I also never started.
Well, that's on you, man.
Yeah, that is on me.
If you don't feel like watching it, but feel like listening to a podcast about every episode, check out Portland, CA.
That's how I get most of my format. Just listen to people talk about it.
And you can find us at barenakedladies.com.
No, that's not right.
Wow.
What do you mean?
You guys pull that? That's a pretty big gift.
No,
ladies are probably
it took
pissed.
a lot of money. We had to swoop in there,
Jeff,
during a state sale. What?
I said barenakedabcs.com.
Yes, barenakedabcs.com.
Yeah, that's where people can reach us. Why are you giving me a hard time?
I don't know, Tracy. Why am I giving you a hard time?
I am very sure that I said that correctly.
Maybe you did.
Well, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I got it wrong.
Maybe you're right. Oh.
I'll find out during editing. But until then, come back next week when we discuss the song.
Hang on. Stop. Okay. Maybe you're right. Get that one in there. Put that one in there.
All right, I'll put that one.
Maybe you're right.
One thing we didn't get to talk about tonight, and now that I've introduced what next week's song is, and Aaron's not here, so I can give this away. It's really funny that this week's song was number 9 on this album. But if you go back one CD to Bare Naked Ladies Are Me,
number 9
on that one is Maybe You're Right. So they were actually having an argument with themselves between albums. It was this,
maybe you're right, maybe not. Yeah.
It was this wonderful little thing, little Easter egg for the fans that were paying attention.
It's for the 1% of fans who are paying attention.
I would be that 1%.
Yes.
Josh, it's been a lot of fun having you on tonight.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad we can finally work it out. I know we've been trying to plan this out for 8 years now.
I know.
And just the dates weren't lining up, and you would keep showing up at my house asking me if I was ready. And it got a little weird, but I appreciate you putting the effort in.
I am completely sorry about that time with the shower. That was a little weird.
Yeah, why would you bring a shower to my house? That made absolutely no sense.
And to your credit, unlike the other 7-8 guests we've had on recently, you never did go the full PFA route, which I thought was really, that's admirable.
And
like you were accepting. You never called the police. You never, got the restraining order.
And I have to explain myself. Jeff knows better than to say things to me because he knows I'm very literal. And he told me to shower the people with gifts. And that I just thought that...
Dude.
I see what you did there. Dude. No, that's the thing. I know the difference between a stalker and just a fan. I get it.
See, I'm so glad. There's so few people that get it.
It's basically curfews. Fans are like, I should go home now. Stalkers are like, I'm camping out.
You did camp out in my lawn though for 3 days.
That's true.
That's why I was scratching my head because I was like, wait a minute.
I know, yeah. That's now that we brought that up.
The shower was very useful.
That's why we lost about 3 weeks of episodes because of that. But
well, he did help me install new cameras all around my house. So
nice of him. That was right.
I got very good at that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your gutters have never been cleaner either.
Look, honestly, after a while, being stalked is just comforting because it feels like someone always has your back.
Especially during, in 2020, just having someone nearby was nice. You were still 6 feet away, but just knowing they were always there. The magic of editing.
It's kind of...
do you guys edit your podcast, or do you just pretty much go and whatever?
Someone edits it. Very slowly. I think my brother does.
All those bad jokes end up sounding better because I get rid of all the stuff that doesn't work.
He gets rid of all this. Yeah. I listen to the podcast back and I'm like, wow.
What we did for a couple of episodes, we added a laugh track, and I thought it was hilarious, but literally everyone else hated it.
For 3 episodes, I put backing music in because I thought that was the going thing that would make podcasts sound better.
I'm glad you got rid of that.
Yeah, that lasted 3 episodes when I got some very interesting emails telling me I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. It's too much, I think, when there's constant stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
So I get this email one time. I was like, hey, you want to come on this Bare Naked Ladies podcast? We're definitely not going to talk about stalkers and dead kids and cleaning shit off the curtains.
Oh, we tell everyone that. Who'd come on the show?
Oh my goodness. All right.
So Josh, how was the podcast last night? I was all right.
We talked about a divisive family and stalkers and
curtain feces and dick rockets.
My wife's like, can you send me a link to that podcast? No.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
No, my wife has gotten so used to it. She's always upstairs, and then eventually the door opens because the cats, have to shit or something. I don't know. But the door opens, and so she gets to listen to my side of this whole thing, and it's great fun for her every week.
I can only imagine what that must sound like.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, sure. You have to listen to both sides about the dead kids. It doesn't.
In my defense, I didn't say anything about the dead kids until just now.
What about earlier when you talked about shoving all your dead stepkids into Bezos' dick rocket?
That was.
You're like, no, honey, you have to listen to both sides, or it doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly. I don't usually break into dead stepkids and rockets. It's not normal for me without being prompted.
I'm going to argue with you on that one.
I need an assist.
I'm going to no-butt that one.
No. I did do the Stormy Daniels joke a while back, and that was completely unprompted. That was my favorite one. That's still my favorite one. I don't remember what it was, but that was like so good.
Oh, should I stop recording now?
Probably, yeah. This is. I mean, at this point, it's all evidence.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.